You are 47 years old, standing in the produce aisle of a grocery store 40 minutes from your house. Your phone vibrates with a Manhattan area code. A reporter from Forbes wants to verify your net worth for the 2026 billionaire list. She asks if 1.84 billion is accurate. You put the peaches back, walk out without paying for the basket, and sit in your car for 6 full minutes. Nobody in your family has ever been on that list. At age 19, you were washing dishes behind a Filipino restaurant in Queens called Lola's for $11 an hour. Your parents arrived in 1993 with $340 and 2 suitcases. Your mother reminds you of that number every Sunday dinner, not as a point of pride, but as a reminder of the weight you carry. While the high-pressure hose cleaned the plates, you ran the numbers in your head. 84 tables turning twice, an average check of $47, 33% labor, and 28% food costs. You realized you were looking at a 12% net margin. Without knowing the term for it, you were studying the mechanics of a business model. Escaping this environment starts with noticing these mechanics before you have a single dollar of your own to invest. You fill a notebook with observations. Which delivery driver shows up at what time, which vendor gives the best produce margins, and which ordering patterns maximize turnover. You are already counting. This diagram illustrates your transition from linear service to exponential leverage. At age 24, you were building custom websites by hand. By 28, you built a software tool that automated the most repetitive 60% of that work. Instead of hiring more designers, you licensed the tool to your own competitors and charged them a monthly fee. By year-end, revenue hits $184,000 a month. You move the operation out of the basement and into a Soho office with a team of 14 people. You do not buy a car or upgrade your apartment. You sleep on a mattress from Facebook Marketplace and reinvest every dollar into the code. A venture capital firm named Theo Partners offers you $4 million for 16% of the company. It would value your work at $24 million. You take the meeting because you are curious, but you find yourself hesitating. Walking along the East River that evening, you think about your mother's savings account and the 6 years of 12-hour days. Saying yes to Theo means giving up the right to negotiate your own ceiling. You decline the deal. Velocity is the discipline to refuse acceleration at the wrong moment. You finish the year profitable with $3 million in recurring revenue, and most importantly, you still own the entire company. 4 years later, you finally raise capital, a $40 million Series B. This diagram shows the critical move you made during the negotiation. The board has 5 seats, and you control 3. That mathematical majority allows you to listen to advisors without being forced to follow their mistakes. With 94 employees, your job changes. You stop running the company and start running the company's runners. You are no longer managing the work. You are managing the executives who oversee the work. You hire a chief of staff named Evelyn. She becomes your most important hire because she is the only person in the organization who will tell you no. In a world where everyone starts agreeing with the founder, her pushback is the only thing that keeps the strategy grounded. Despite your valuation, you still visit your mother on Sundays. She has finally stopped cleaning houses, but she still makes you adobo and sends you home with Tupperware. You drive 90 minutes back to the city in silence, the smell of home filling the passenger seat. Surviving this scale requires a dual strategy. You must build a corporate structure that actively challenges your ideas, while fiercely protecting the quiet, humble habits that remind you where the money actually comes from. At age 37, the company closes around at a $1.2 billion valuation. On paper, you are a billionaire. The headline number suggests you have reached the summit, but the reality is more complicated. As this chart shows, that wealth is currently an abstraction. Lockup agreements and illiquidity mean that while your paper net worth is 10 figures, your actual usable assets are a tiny fraction of that. You are rich in theory, but your liquid cash remains in the low millions. The friction of the number begins to bend your life. Relatives call with bad business ideas, and your wealth manager insists on a 3-person security rotation. You live with the weight of being a target long before you can actually spend the money people think you have. At this level, the paper number is a dangerous distraction. You have to manage the public perception of your wealth, while your day-to-day reality is consumed by accountability to 600 employees and 3 different countries. You are 47. The company is public, the lockups are over, and the Forbes reporter has verified your liquid net worth is $1.84 billion. You hang up the phone, park in the driveway, and sit in the silence of your car. You walk inside. Your daughter, Anna, is at the kitchen table doing algebra. She looks up and asks if you can explain negative exponents. You sit down next to her, leaving the verification call and Forbes list at the door. You talk her through the process of converting a fraction into a reciprocal. It is the same fundamental logic you used at age 19 to calculate margins at the dish sink. The math is identical, only the stakes have changed. You help Anna finish the problem and watch her head to her room. You stand in the kitchen and pour a glass of water, having finally reached the silence of a Tuesday night where the counting stops. Somewhere in Queens tonight, the next cycle is already starting, behind a restaurant, as a teenager picks up a note